Thank you very much. Okay, everybody, it's a beautiful, beautiful afternoon here in Pennsylvania, and I want to thank everybody, like I said, for coming back for day two. And this will be another excellent day of education. So I remember exactly where we left off. I'm not going to keep my face on because it's a distraction. I just wanted to say hello and thank you all for coming back. So we've got a few more days after today. We're going to go through Thursday, so make sure that you check the schedule. We might even have an extra graduation on Friday. A lot of people don't make every session. All right. And just a couple of heads up, the recordings are sent in the evening and in the morning. We've already sent 2 emails of the recordings. It's very important. Check your spam folders because lots of times emails from companies, they just go into your spam folder or they go into your trash folders. I mean, it's just the way things work in the modern day of emailing. So if you have not received the recording, please check your spam folder. If you still haven't received it, send us an email to help@10minutetrades.com. Help@10minutetrades.com. I'm going to do a quick recap, a very quick recap, just to remind everybody why these trades work and what it's all about. So very simply, we trade futures and we trade with the Ninja Trader platform. So don't forget that. We trade futures. When I say that we're going to trade stock earnings, we may watch the stock charts, but we're actually trading the futures, okay? And our software installs into the Ninja Trader platform. That's very important to understand. That's how our software works. It becomes a part of the Ninja Trader platform. And just a couple of things that you want to know also. So if you ever install anybody's strategies or anybody's indicators, always back up your Ninja Trader before you install anything, all right? It's very simple to do. It's easy, and here's how you want to do it. It's something that should always be on your mind because if anything goes wrong, you always have a backup. You just go to Tools, you go to Export, Backup File. It's so easy, but don't forget to do what I always forget to do. Disconnect your live connections by going to Connections first. Now, go to Tools, go to Export, Backup File. Export the backup file. If you do a lot of testing and you back up the market replay, it may take up to 30 minutes to do a backup. Most people don't do a lot of testing and they don't do a lot of market replay. So you can check every box. Because we do so much market replay, I back everything up except for the video and the data for my market replay. I just do that once a month. But all you do is export the file. You click on export, you give it a name, all right? And always, always, always make 2 backups. One backup, you can put it right on your computer, wherever you want to put it. I normally put all my backups in my download folder so they're easy to find. So just click on downloads and then do your save. Also, if you do it again, do it twice and do it to a third, do it to an external, either an external hard drive, a flash drive is the perfect thing. So get yourself an inexpensive flash drive. 64 gig is usually plenty. You can get, if you really don't even know what to buy, there's a company called Micro Center. They're a great retailer near where we live and where we have our business, and they sell flash drives on Amazon with their name. They're very reliable. They're very cheap. Micro Center flash drives. You can get a 64 gig drive inexpensively. Do one backup to an external drive because if you ever have a computer failure, it's always nice if you have your backup externally so that a computer failure won't affect you. All right? So that's important. Always backup, backup, backup. It's critical. Second thing, you want to do is just a reminder, why do these trades work? Why does appointment-based trading, why is it such a successful way to trade? And it's because the markets move when events take place. So don't forget that we use the calendars to find all the events, right? We're using the calendars. That's how we find the events. We help you by pointing out all the events that we're going to trade during the week. We send out our weekly schedule. So everybody gets the weekly schedule. Even if you're not a member, you can get our weekly schedule for free. But we show you the events that we're going to trade, and we show you when they take place, the trigger time, and we show you when our trade room opens. All right, so the key is we use 3 to 4 major calendars. Forex Factory, and you just go to forexfactory.com, click the word calendar, and then you can see a full week of events. Forex Factory uses a color-coded system. The red are the most impactful events, orange are medium, and then yellow are less impactful. Learn to just look over the calendars. You can see what news came out the day before. You have a forecast, and you have the actual news. And that, my friends, is the key to why news and events move the markets. When you have a forecast and when the event news is released, the difference between the forecast and the actual news is what we call the news offset. When there's a big difference in the offset from what the market is expecting, it causes the markets to move. And that's why these types of trades move. We've got earnings trades, we've got job reports, market open and closes. Those are the types of events that move the markets. Now, open and closes are a little bit more unique because they're not based on a specific news event. They're based on something that happens at a specific time. And today we're going to talk about range trades, and we're going to talk about the breakout trade. And those are trades that you set up based on time. So if you're a time trader, maybe you like to trade the market open 30 minutes after the market opens, which is a very popular trade that people take. Well, I'll show you how to set up any trade you want based on any time frame. Now, I'm just going to put one of my charts on micro gold, 1225. That's the current contract. Just because I'm watching gold right now, it's already too late. Gold's going to do a magnet right now. It's going to test. It looks to me like it's going to test the high of the day right here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This green line. Remember yesterday we put our orders and we put our indicators on the chart? That green line is one of the key indicators for one of our popular setups. Look what the MNQ did right over here. Right over here where you see my cursor moving, the MNQ did a magnet. It started pushing up, 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 and it tested the high right there. Keep an eye on gold. Gold is probably going to test the high during this webinar. What constitutes a test? And the reason I'm spending a few minutes on this is because this is part of our trading system. One of our strategies is called the magnet strategy. The magnet strategy is based on tests of the high. Now, I'm not covering the magnet today, but just for fun, because I'm seeing this take place, I'm going to put a trade on, all right? And we'll just leave it alone. We won't even pay attention to it unless it works. If it works, I'll point it out and I'll show you why it might work, okay? So I'm going to throw a magnet trade on the chart. It's almost too late already. I'm going to make it automatic. And it's already too late. The problem, it's entering me because it wants to test the high. So I'm going to let it do that and watch. Gold is going to go and it's going to go test this high. If it doesn't, I'll take a small stop right below here. Sometimes what happens, it doesn't quite go there. And sometimes it will almost go there, change direction, and change its mind. That happens. It's not the end of the world. We're just trading micros just to show what a magnet trade can do. That green line is the high of the day with gold. It's very possible gold's going to pop up and test that area. I'm going to get out a few ticks before that area just to show you what sometimes happens when gold tests the high. I'm not going to take a very big loss if it doesn't work because that's not the main reason we're here today. But I saw this trade setting up. And if I'm getting ready to start trading in the afternoon and I notice that a test is going to start to take place, and I also noticed, look, the gold market is pretty bullish. It's up 19 points. So there's a good possibility we may get that test. If we don't get the test, we'll lose about $20 because that's all we're risking on this particular test. You've got an upward move in gold. It's pushing. We have the squeeze actually pushing up. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see. Whoop, it's going. It's going. It almost burst up just then. It missed my target by one little tick. I think it's going to pop right now. It just took the test. It's now, if it gets to 3 ticks before that just tested the high, folks, that's a magnet trade. We're going to do a whole session on how to set up magnet trades so you can learn how to do that. Look how easy it was to trade that little trade. We took very little risk. We threw a couple of contracts on. And just because I've done this so many times, I was able to recognize a very good probability for that trade. That was a magnet trade. It tested the high, and we had an automated setup that allowed us to do a quick setup on that. Anyway, we're going to cover that in detail so you understand everything about it. I wanted to talk about, I did a little bit of a recap. Some of the trades, most of the trades we take are moving because news moves markets. And we study the instruments and the markets that we've tried to find the absolute best instrument to trade on every event. On jobs reports, gold, bonds, MNQ, those instruments tend to move very, very well. There are Fed statements. On Fed statements, we find that the ES moves very, very well. We're not partial. If the Australian dollar futures move on a trade, then we'll trade the Australian dollar. And a lot of you get scared and you get worried and you go, oh, wait, I never traded the Australian dollar. I don't know how to do it. The beauty of futures, what we trade are futures. The beauty of futures, they're all basically trading the same way. The big difference is they have different values per tick. Every move that the future makes is called a tick. Gold, for instance, has a $10 tick. Micro gold has a $1 tick. Most micros are 1/10 of the full-size instrument. So, for instance, the MNQ, or let's take the NQ. The NQ is $5 a tick. The MNQ is 50 cents per tick. So when you see some of our trades and you see, wow, they have a 100 tick stop. I can't trade that. That's too big. I can't afford it. It's going to cost too much if the trade loses. But no, it's a micro. It's 1/10 of $5. It's just 50 cents. So a 100 tick stop, it's only $50, right? It's not that big of a stop trading micros. So you can trade micros, you could put a couple of contracts on, and you can start to learn how to make money without taking a lot of risk if you have a cash account. And as a reminder, yesterday, we also talked about putting on trades using prop accounts, right? So I'm going to put a couple of links in the chat for you, all right? so that you have these links. You don't forget about them. I put them in most of the emails that I'll send to you also, so you'll get reminded of the things that you want to do. All right? So we have a whole bunch of chart tips and tricks. We've got free VWAPs. We've got a syncing program. First things first, if you have trouble logging into the trade room, let me give you that info again so that you can make sure you can get logged into the trade room. All right? So I'm going to send you that info. You're welcome in the trade room all week long with us. Okay? We want you to come and join us. It's a lot of fun. You'll learn a lot. It's the absolute best way to learn quickly. Okay? So come into the trade room and watch us trade. That will give you a fantastic ability in the shortest period of time. I'm also going to give you a link for a free Ninja Trader demo and our YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, tons of free education. Tons. Lots of webinars that you can watch, study, and learn. Okay? And then I wanted to put one more link up, and I'll put it up later, or I'll email it to you. I'll send you our prop account link with our code so you can get a prop account at a discount. And I'm going to show you that anyway. I've got a slide for that. So let's show the slide. Welcome to day 2. Important links. I've sent you the Ninja Trader link, the Bullinox link. Let me see if I can send that easily now. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for links. Here's our Bullinox link. Let me send that to you. And if you want to, join up with a prop account, click the join button. All right, click the join button. And then our code is MMT90. That code saves you a ton of money. It makes the prop account $29.35 a month. Okay, $29.35 a month. That is very inexpensive. So there's an area you can put your code in, put that code in, and you can get a prop account for $39. I think it's $29.50 a month. $29.50 a month. Remember, the whole idea of a prop account is you're using someone else's money to learn how to trade. When you become really good at trading, you might be able to take money out of their account. And a lot of people these days are trading with prop accounts, okay? So don't forget why we're here. Why this all works is because news moves markets. We trade the markets when news moves them. Now, we also have action steps, okay? So what's an action step? If you want to win the challenge, we want you to take some action steps. We want you to download the Ninja Trader demo. If you want to learn how to trade right away, download the demo. But I've got 2 action steps for today that are free and easy, and they won't cost you anything, and you can use them with any kind of trading that you do. It could be regular discretionary trading, or you could use them with your news trading. So the first thing I'm going to give you is our clock. All right, it's not our clock, but it's called Topmost Clock, and everybody loves it on their trading charts because who doesn't want to know exactly what time it is when you're trading the markets, right? You can control the clock, you can see what time it is, you can set up different types of clocks. It's a really great free indicator. And it's not really an indicator, it's a little program. So it's an exe file, all right? It's an exe file, and you will actually click on that file and install it on your computer, okay? Install it on your computer. So I've put it in the chat for you, all right? Topmost Clock. Everybody should see that. And then the second program that I believe everybody should use it. If you're trading, and especially if you're trading news, You want your computer to be in sync, right? So what does that mean? It means the world has clocks, right? The world has clocks, and we sync ourselves to those world clocks. So here's a link to a program that will easily put your computer in sync. And just make sure you don't forget how to download a Google Drive file. You just click the little arrow right up here, and that allows you to download a Google Drive file. All right? And then you double click the program. Dimension 4 is the sync program, and topmost clock is the clock program. When you want to put your computer in sync using Dimension 4, after the program loads on your computer, it has an icon. And when you click on the icon, you get a screen that looks like this. It's got a Sync Now button, it's got a bunch of servers in the middle, and it's got a very important Synchronize button. When you press Sync Now a couple of times, you'll notice the synchronized button changes. That's your computer being put in sync. Okay? So, how do you know your computer's not in sync? You're going to go to the website time.is. Very simple. Just type in time.is and watch what happens. It checks to see if your computer is in sync. If your time is exact, beautiful. It'll tell you your time is exact. If it's not exact, you click the program that we sent you, Dimension 4, and it brings up that sync screen. You click Sync Now, right? A couple of times, making sure the synchronized line changes. And then what I recommend you do, open a new window, retype time.is. You want to start it from scratch, and then check again. 9 times out of 10, it will sync a computer that is not in sync. We've actually never had an instance where someone couldn't get their computer in sync. We do have other tools. If, for instance, Dimension 4 just cannot work, we do have other tools that will help you get your computer in sync. So that's the action step for today. Install both of those programs on your computer. You'll have the clock, you'll have the sync program, and you'll be forever ready to start trading the news. Okay? So that's today's action step. Yesterday, we sort of finished off, we really were just touching upon the trap trade. All we were talking about yesterday was how after you install the software, how do you call up the strategy? How do you, use the actual trap trade itself? So interestingly, today we had a trap trade setup. So let me show you how we knew that. We send our members every day that there is an event that has a DMM, all right? If the event has what we call a DMM, it gets sent to our members, and that DMM has a setup. This is what the DMM looks like. And this one down here, the alternate approach, had a trap trade setup. All right? Yesterday, I showed you, first of all, I showed you how to install the software. So I'm going to go over that again because people get confused. If you don't install the software from our website, we do offer another way to install our software. We just simply send you a simple to use PDF, and the PDF has installation instructions on how to install the software. Our software has 3 strategies: the News Trader Breakout Suite, the JOBB Magnet Strategy, and the Trap Trade. So yesterday, we installed the Trap Trade. So if you're new and you just signed up with us, you'll get this PDF and you'll click on the trap trade strategy link. You'll get a security warning and you'll allow it. And it will open up a window, a dialog that looks like this. And I'm so glad it looks like this. People panic and they go, oh, what do I do with these files in the middle? How do I load them? Don't do anything with them. They're just showing you what the files are in the program. All you do with a Google Drive file is download it. Click that little arrow. It's a zip file, all right? It says zip. We don't double-click zip files. All files that you bring into NinjaTrader are zip files, and we import them. They get imported into NinjaTrader. So this file that has been downloaded onto my computer most probably has been downloaded into my download folder. The only thing you need to know is where do your downloads go. And the reason you need to know that is so you can find the file when you try to install it into NinjaTrader. All right? So the steps that we do, making believe I don't have the trap trade installed right now, I would go to Tools, I would go to Import Ninja Script Add-on, and I would click that. I'm going to get a dialog, and it's going to show me, hopefully, on your machine, it'll just show you the file that just downloaded. Otherwise, you got to find it by looking off to the left. Maybe it's in your document folder, okay? Maybe it's on your desktop. But you're going to find that file. You know the name of the file because it showed up on the screen when you downloaded it. Then you're going to double-click that file, all right? You're going to get a message, be careful, watch out for viruses. We're going to okay it. It's not a virus, all right? And sometimes you get a message like this, right before everything installs. You get a message, the existing file on your PC is a newer version of the one contained on your computer. The file is newer. The existing file on your PC, the file on your PC is newer than the one you're trying to bring in. Do you want to replace the file? No. Always keep the newer file. If it's on your PC, just say no. And then the download is going to finish. After you get a message that the files have downloaded successfully, all you do is restart your Ninja. Okay, you have to do that after you download a strategy. Start your Ninja back up. And look, it doesn't take very long to do this. That's why I'm showing you right in front of you exactly how to do it. So now my NinjaTrader starts back up, and the strategy is now going to be installed inside NinjaTrader. So how do you call up strategies that are part of NinjaTrader now? It's very easy. Right-click the chart. Click the word strategy, and you'll notice JOBB Trap Trade. That wasn't there before you met us because you didn't have the software. So when I want to call up the trap trade to create a setup like we did yesterday, we're just going to double click the trap trade. It appears under the configured area right here. And then you'll notice on the right side, these are all the items that we can change to set up our trap trade. Don't let anything scare you ever. Don't ever worry. That's the most important advice I can give you. Don't worry, be happy. Everything's going to be fine. You don't even have to change all these items. We're going to teach you the items that you don't have to change, okay? We're going to teach you about what the items are. We'll show you which ones you change. The other ones, you just leave them alone, okay? Now, some programs do unzip files automatically, as one of our members was saying. But in the case of Ninja, you do want to import the zip file. So you don't have to unzip the zip files you import into Ninja. Just import the zip file. So we called up the trap trade strategy. Now we have our trade setup that we sent to our members the day before the trade. That's one of the nice things that we like to do. We want you to have the setup the day before so you can study, maybe even do some testing. If you're the kind of person that likes to do testing, it's very easy to do a test of a trade, of a previous trade. In fact, I may show you how to do that today. Anyway, we've got our trap trade right here. This is our setup, the yellow line. We've got an activation time. That's the time that orders are going to go and appear on the chart. We match that up to the activation field. X2955. East Coast. That particular event is 8:30 in the morning, so it's 8:29:55. And this is all the things that we do every morning in the trade room. Every setup that we take, we go over every setup every single time. We never go into the trade room and randomly start trading without telling everybody what we're doing, how we're going to do it. Should we trade it with money? Should we trade it for real? Should we just watch it? We are not screwing around. We take this very seriously, and we want to make sure that you know what you're doing. 8:29:55 is our activation time. We have a cancel rule, and we'll talk about that in the trade room. These days, I don't cancel very many trades automatically. There's a control in the software that does let you cancel trades automatically. I would rather cancel them manually based on what the behavior of the news is. But some people like to trade and cancel their trades automatically. We have a stop, all right? The stop on our setup for this trade is 20. So we put the number 20 where it says stop loss ticks. We have tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 is bracket 1. Tier 2 is bracket 2. To go over what we discussed yesterday, a trap trade is a specialized reversal trade. It's an event that we've studied that we believe we're going to make our money not on the spike, but on the reversal of the spike. So what we're doing is we're putting orders above and below the current price right before the news. If the market moves up, we're selling the market. If the market goes down, we're buying the market. That's how we trade a trap trade. So tier 1, we have a range of ticks that we use. I'm going to use 15 this morning. We always tell you which we're using, and in fact, going forward, we're going to just make it one number because it's easier. Tier 1 was 15 this morning. Tier 2 was 25. That was on gold, okay? This was a gold trade. What market were we trading? Gold futures. So when we're done, I'll make sure that my chart is matching. So just to recap from the very beginning, we chose the trap trade strategy. We double-clicked it, and it opened up our ability to enter the trap trade in. We put in the activation time. That's the time our orders will show up on the chart. We put the stop in because it's right after the activation time. It's 20 ticks. We put our tiers in, 15 and 25. We took the data right from the sheet that we sent. Now, we have to choose an account. I'm going to leave it in simulation mode. And we teach our members to label all their trades. So this was a trap using gold, GC. I'm done setting up the trap trade. I apply it and I OK it. Now, if I move our sheet out of the way, you'll notice on the NinjaTrader control panel here, we now have a strategy. you have to have your strategy tab checked. If you have your message tab checked, you won't see your strategy. If you have your execution tab checked, you won't see your strategy. So most of the time, you're going to be on strategies, okay? That's what you're going to have checked. Now, remember, we want to turn the trade on. We never turned it on yet. We have to check the box to turn it on. Now, keep in mind something important. All right. Yesterday we showed you how to use your clock and how to turn it on if it was off, right? Right now, the clock is off. To adjust the clock, you put your cursor dead center, close it. That gets rid of it. I taught you yesterday how to pin it to your taskbar. So now to turn the clock on, I just click it and I have the clock. The reason I'm turning it on is, remember, this trade took place this morning. If the software thinks that the time has already passed for the trade to take place, it's actually going to trigger our trade. It's not the correct time to take the trade. Also, we were using gold, so I'm going to change the chart to 1225, GC 1225, the gold chart. That was our setup that we used this morning. When I turn this trade on, it's actually going to show us a trap trade based on the market settings now, not based on what the settings were this morning when we traded it. Now, it needs a movement of price before it will calculate the brackets. So right now I'm watching it. It hasn't moved yet. The second this moves, we get our orders right there. The gold price move. Gold's a little bit quiet right now. Not terribly quiet, because remember, we just made a real live trade on gold. It moved reasonably quick. But you'll notice we've got our two tiers, tier 1, tier 2, above the price, and we've got tier 1 and tier 2 below the price. Remember what I said, the trap trade is a specialized reversal. If the price goes up, we're going to go short, we're going to sell the market. If the price goes down, we're going to buy the market. All right? So let me show you the video of what happened in this morning's trap trade on durable goods. It was interesting. It's not a great trade, and we kind of told everybody in the room, this is not a trade I would take with real money, but maybe in a prop account I would take a risk. And that's what we did. So we set the trade up exactly as I just showed you. All right. We had our trap trade set up where we took the orders just like I showed you. And then a few seconds before 8:30, you're going to see, we're going to get there. A few seconds before 8:30, our orders went on the chart. Now this was the live market this morning, and what happened was the price shot down. It's a reversal. It filled us long. All right, and now our goal is to manage our way out of the trap trade, because it filled long. It only filled one of the orders, which I'm really glad that happened, because I need to explain something important. And if you notice, it started to reverse. We were in a profitable position immediately. It went down, put us in the market long, and we had a profit. But we had a problem. Let me explain. First things first, when we put a trap trade on, you get buttons across the top. When you enable the trade, you get a BE button. That's a break even button. Almost every trade that we put on gets a BE button. If your trade is profitable and you want to just quickly move your stop to break even plus one tick, you just press the BE button, and that's what it does. We have a close button. That closes the trade. It's the same as the close button on the chart trader. It's the same as unchecking the checkbox on the trap trade. That's another way to close out the trade if your orders are on the chart, okay? We also have an adjust button. We don't use that currently. We have a very important button called cancel. The cancel button is cancel the outer tier. So remember the trap trade, what it does, it puts two orders above the price and below the price, two orders above and below. Sometimes the market may not move enough to fill both orders. So one order will still be on the chart, right? Everybody understand that? One order is still on the chart. Now, I just want to give everyone a heads up. Oh, never mind. I'm good. I thought I couldn't see your questions. I can. So both orders are on the chart. If it doesn't fill both, what'll happen is exactly what happened in the trade this morning. Sometimes the reversal will take place and it won't fill both your orders, and that's perfectly normal and perfectly fine. Then you want to use the cancel button. One of the things that we teach is when a trade goes into profit, you may want to move your stop to safety. What does it mean to move your stop to safety? It means to move your stop break even plus ticks so that you can protect some of the profit that the trade made for you. So we do that very, very often in a trap trade. We move our stop to break even plus. But when only one order fills, look what happens. Here's the stop, but here's our second order that didn't get filled. It's still there. It might still get filled if the reversal fails and it keeps going down. It'll give us another long order. We have a possibility of two orders, two contracts long. Most of the time, we know when the reversal has started taking place, and then we want to move our stop to safety, but the stop's being blocked by that active order. So all we have to do is cancel the outer order. Watch what happens. That's what I'm going to do in a few seconds when I've determined our reversal looks like it's starting to work. I'm going to go up top, cancel the outer tier. That order is going to disappear, and I can then move my stop to safety. I also almost always increase my target as well. What if it really goes and goes and goes and goes and goes? There's no law that says I have to use the smallest target possible. I could increase my target and trail. The most beautiful trades are the trades that go profitable and allow us to trail. We love that. This particular trade this morning, it wasn't phenomenal. The reversal didn't really take place very well. Watch what happened. Our stop was in safety. Once your stop is in safety, that means you cannot lose money on the trade. The only way you'd lose money on that trade, your computer would have to crash with orders being online and unattended. You'd have to have the most incredible disaster. It would be crazy. You can't lose money on this trade under normal living conditions because we've moved our stop to safety and there has been a reversal. If it fails, it'll pull back against us. It'll take our stop out of the trade. It'll take us out of the trade with a small profit. That happens. And that's what happened in this trade this morning. It started to reverse. I started to trail. I moved my stop up. I was hoping it would continue trailing, and it didn't. It changed direction, and it hit my stop, so we only made $60 on that trade. The key to that trade was cancel the outer tier. So that's how you trade a trap trade. When you put a trade on the chart, right? I'm going to show you one more time. You right-click, click the word strategy, double-click trap trade, and then you enter in your parameters, right? So I'm going to leave everything the way it is and just put a couple of random orders on because I want to show you one other thing that's important. So I've got a stop, I've got an activation time, I've got tier 1 and tier 2, and I've got an account I'm trading in. If I want to trade in a cash account, I just click the little arrow and choose my cash account. And we always label every trade. Okay, that's easy. I've shown you that a bunch of times. Now, to save time, let's say you're trading durable goods and you want to remember next month how you traded it this month. Before you go any further, you could press the apply button and then press template, go to save. We're going to save the setup and we'll call it durable because that was the name of the event, and we'll date it 8/26/25. I date everything. All right. You could be more descriptive. You could say durable GC so you know it was a gold trade. That's up to you. All right. All that stuff. I'm not going to be crazy here. You do a save and then okay it. Once you okay your trade, remember, it's going to be on the control panel, right? And it's got the name that we gave it, Trap GC. The reason the name of the label of the trade is so important, because many trades, we add a second setup to the chart. A lot of times when we trade news, one of the most important things we're going to do after the news is try to enter again. When we trade the market open, a lot of times we will get a profit and we will want to go into the market again. Sometimes we'll get a loss and we'll want to go in on the other direction. So we almost always, on almost every trade these days, we add a second setup to the same chart, and it's very easy to do. You just right-click the chart again. Now remember, we've got a trap trade set up. That's fine. We're going to right-click the chart again. We're going to click Strategies. But we're not going to use the trap trade this time because our added setup is almost always a reverse continuation. So we're going to double-click 10-minute news trader. Double-click it. And now up at the top by trade type, we're going to change that to reverse continuation. All you need to trade a reverse continuation is a position and a number in that position, which represents the number of contracts, a target, and a stop. We're going to tell it what account we're trading in, all right? And we're going to label it. So to set up a reverse continuation, let me show you how easy it is. You don't have to worry about all the items because many of those items, they just stay there. They're default. They don't get changed. Very good question in the chat. How do we decide if it's a trap or not or a breakout? We study the event, Antonio, and if it's an event that reverses in a tradable manner regularly, then it's prime time for a trap trade. If it doesn't reverse, we're looking more towards breakouts. All right? So how easy is it to put on that reversal continuation? It's easy as pie. Right-click the chart. Click on Strategies. Double-click News Trader. We get our JOBB breakout down there because the default is breakout, but we're going to change it to reverse continue. All right? And it changes the name down there too. It's now a reverse continue. To get a reverse continue set up so you can trade it, all you need is one position. So position 1 is already a 1. I'm going to make a 0 on position 2. I need a target. Remember, we're on the gold chart. Let's put on a 20 target. We don't need to move the stop if the target gets hit, because if we're trading only one position, if the target gets hit, the trade will end with a profit. It's not going to move the stop. The trade will be over. So we need our position, one contract. We have a 20 tick target, and I've got a 20 tick stop. I'm typing in 20. Then we ignore everything else. You don't have to do anything else. Choose your account. Right now we're on SIM. We're going to leave it there. And I'm going to label it GC Gold, right? GC reverse continue. And now watch what happens. I'm going to apply it and I'm going to OK it. Don't forget, if you want to set up a template, a reverse continue template, you could just go template, save it, give it a name. In this case, we're just going to go right to apply and OK it. Now, on the control panel, we have both our setups. We have our trap trade and we have our reverse continue. When you enable the reverse continue by clicking the box and turning the check on, you do get a cancel now button, so that if you want to cancel the trade, if you were in the trade, you could. It's really an unnecessary button in this case because there's nothing to cancel unless your orders were on the chart. But in all actuality, folks, you don't even have to ever think of using that button because it's not necessary in a discretionary trade. The trade's never going to take place unless you turn it on by pressing the button. So to enable the reverse continue, click enabled. And now, if we want to trade it, I always like to know what time it is, right? If we want to trade it, remember we had one position, we had a 20 tick, 25 tick target, and a 20 tick stop. To go instantly short, you just press instant short. And it puts us in the market instantly short with a 25 tick stop and our target. If you want to close the trade out, just click close. We could have gone long, so we'll re-enable the trade by pressing enable. Instant long. This is one of the most important things that we do in the room. As simple as it is, it's maybe one of the most important things we do. Why? Because we have dozens of trades, dozens, that after the news, we want to go in. We want to use our squeeze when it gives us a great signal. Sometimes we use our squeeze. We get a great signal, and maybe we want to go long or short after the news. Okay? The reverse continue has many features of our regular breakout trades. You can trail your stops. We have a trailing stop feature. I like one particular way that we do trailing, tick for tick it's called. To use trailing stops, all you have to do is turn on trailing stops method and the trailing stop mode. Trailing stop mode has to be on if you want to trail your stop, so turn it on. If you have a multi-position trade, you could start to trail after your first target gets hit. You just choose start at target 1. If you have a 3-position trade, you could start at target 2. Otherwise, you just turn it on. The most popular way of trailing is number of trailing ticks would be a 1. Every time your trade moves profitably in your direction, the stop's going to move 1 tick. If number of trailing ticks was 2, every time the stop moves in your direction, it'll move 2 ticks. You have to be careful with stop placement so that your stop doesn't go above your price. If you're, for instance, long on a trade, you'll get a platform error if your stop goes above the current price. It can't be above the current price because it would end the trade if it's at the current price. So you don't want to make your trailing so big and have it go so far that it's going to jump above your stop. So just keep that in mind. All right. But so simple to turn on trailing stops. All it means is the stop automatically moves for each tick of profit. And most commonly, you're going to move one, maybe two ticks of profit each move. That's trailing stops. That works on most of our trade setups. It works on breakouts, range trades, and all you do to turn it off or on is make sure the trailing mode is on or off. If it's off, it doesn't do anything. Okay, it just ignores all the settings. We have another super powerful feature. But I'll tell you what, let's move into another setup. So, any questions? Why GC and not ES? Antonio, no reason, just demoing. Happened to be on GC, no reason. No reason at all. If you want to remove your strategy from the control panel and from inside the strategy, if your strategy is open, just highlight the strategy, press the remove button. Now, one important thing to remember when you are adjusting a trade. So let's say we've got a trade that we're adjusting. We just did a trap trade, right? And we want to make the stop bigger. Our stop is 10. We want to make it 30. And the trade is already up on the control panel, all right? It's already on the control panel. Just for a second, removing trades on the control panel, highlight, right-click, remove. So we have our trap trade. It's up on the control panel. I'm not going to enable it at the moment because if I enable it, it's going to go off because the time on the trade has already passed. So let's make it so this trade doesn't take place until later. So I'm going to make the time 4:30, 16:30, all right? Just so we could demonstrate a few things that happen. Apply it, okay it. That makes any changes that you made to the trade. Important to remember. Any strategy that you're changing, if I change the stop, whatever I change it to, if I make a valid change, the apply button will be available to be pressed, and I want to press it and then OK it. Then I turn the trade on by clicking enabled. So now we get an icon. That icon shows us that our trap trade is ready to go. You set it up so you know at 4:30 you're going to have a trap trade. Remember, you get your buttons. You get your break even button. Whenever you enable a trade, you get those buttons. Break even. If you're in a profitable trade, you could press break even and it'll move the stop to break even. Close. If your orders are on the chart, it closes out the trade. We don't use adjust, cancel out a tier. There's an extra button called combine. If you have a two-position trade and you want the orders to both be at the same price, you can combine them with the combine button. And it'll combine your orders to the price closest to the current price. So you might have two orders open. Maybe you want to move them both together for whatever reason. The combine button does that. But we were talking about reversal continuation. It's one of the most important setups that we have. It's so popular. To use it, you right-click the chart. We're adding a second strategy. So click strategy, double-click news trader, and now we're going to add a second strategy, but we're going to call it reverse continue. And this is why we name them. Remember what we said about naming the trades. You only need one position, one target, and a stop, all right, to trade the reverse continue. Trailing works, okay? The trailing modes, all that stuff works. choose your account, label the trade, reverse continue. That's how easy it is to put the reverse continue on. Choose the account, don't forget all the stuff, apply it, okay it, and now you're all set to take 2 trades, one at the news, one right after the news, maybe even before the news, okay? Who knows? Sometimes we take a magnet before the news, okay? Couple of questions. Do you use other panels than the one you're showing, such as the DOM or other charting tools? We do not use the DOM. I personally don't care very much for NinjaTrader's DOM. It's not very user-friendly. It's not very ergonomic. If you've ever used TradeStation or other programs, it really works weirdly. And no, we really don't need other indicators and charting tools. We don't fill our charts with tools that don't respond quickly enough during the news. And most indicators aren't going to respond quick enough during the news anyway. So why bother cluttering up your chart with them? So that's why you want to save your workspace. Remember yesterday, we created all the charts. We put all our indicators on. Go to workspace. And if you have an active workspace, you can go to that active workspace and you can click Save As. And you can give this workspace any name. And you'll now have a new workspace so that you never have to do all this chart creation again. You still have to enter your trades. To save time on entering the trades, you can create templates, okay? Now, let's talk about our most popular setup. The most popular setup that we have ever had would be the breakout or the spike trade, okay? That's our most popular setup. The spike trade is installed when you install the NewsTrader software. So let me just show you where it comes from. We've already done multiple installations. I'm not going to install another program. Everything installs exactly the same way, but it's the Breakout suite. That's where we're going to get all the things I'm going to show you now. You would just click on that link and allow that link to install, okay? And then just follow the instructions on the PDF. Do not open these files. We will import them, okay? So we've imported our breakout suite, and now when we right-click our chart and click Strategies, we've got that NewsTrader that we've been clicking, right? We've been using it already. I haven't really told you what it is, but we've been using it. When you single click, or let's say double click the NewsTrader, and you get the default settings, right? And there's a lot of settings on the breakout. You can scroll, right? There's more than you can see on one screen. Remember, nothing to be worried about. Most of them we're not even going to change. But we need them there, all right, for various reasons. Sometimes you might want to use something that's not used all the time. However, we do have some extra setups that we rarely use, and they're available if you click the Advanced Trade Type button. If you don't click the Advanced Trade Type button, when you click the down arrow by Breakout Trade, you'll have Breakout, Range, and Reverse Continuation, which for the way we're trading now is probably 98% of all of our trades, okay? But we do have a lot of previous members that have been around. Some of them have lifetime software licenses, and we have used other setups that are not so popular right now. Some setups we used only during the pandemic. But when you check the advanced trade type box, then check the arrow next to breakout, we do have a bunch of extra setups. A manual reverse breakout, that's something we do use occasionally. We had something called one-click range trades with zones, but for our purposes for this challenge, we don't have to worry about extra setups. We have enough setups to cover. The most popular setup we use is the breakout trade. So when you get a DMM during the day, you get a breakout trade, you get a way to set it up. So if we look at a DMM, for instance, we could look at today's DMM. Let's take a look at, for instance, consumer confidence this morning. All right. Consumer confidence, the top setup is a breakout. How do I know? Because it has a bracket. The first number and the first comment in the yellow line, which is the trade setup, is a bracket. So how do you enter the DMM into the setup so we have a breakout trade? It's really actually quite simple. We do it the same way that we do the trap trade, except we have different items because we chose a different setup. Also, if you hover your mouse on an item, it describes the item. Trade type. It'll tell you something about that item. Profit target. Distance of target in ticks. And it sometimes even gives the syntax. So that's just something to know. You can hover and it'll give you extra info. So we have a breakout trade for CB consumer confidence. The trade type is a breakout. Activate. What time? X59:59. It's either going to be 9:59 Eastern time because it's a 10 o'clock event, or it's going to be 6:59 Pacific time. You use your local time. If you're Central time, you might be 8:59. All right? You use your local time unless your time is set to Chicago trading time. All right? If you're overseas, you use your local time. You don't want to trigger at your 8:30 time because that's not the market's 8:30 time. So just remember that. Use your local time when you trigger your trades. So consumer confidence, we were triggering it at 9:59:59. So we just type that in. It's easy. The bracket was 12. I happen to have a 12 bracket typed in. We don't cancel, right? Remember, we cancel manually, so we don't have to worry about cancel. There is a way, cancel after X seconds. If there's a 20-second cancel and the trade triggers 1 second before the time of the trade, add that 1 second to the cancel. So that would be a 21-second cancel, okay? So it cancels at the right time. But we tell you, if I'm going to cancel, I tell you, it doesn't automatically mean you're going to cancel. Once you learn how to do this, you might not always agree with me. And that's fine. That's good. We want you to learn enough so that you can make your own decisions. All right? So the breakout trade, we enter the time, 9:59:59. We have a bracket of 12, and we have two targets. Target 1 is 10 ticks, so target 1, I put in a 10. Target 2 is 25 ticks, so I put in a 25. We have those position 1 and position 2 items. Just remember, that's very simple. It just means how many contracts do you want at position 1, target 1. Default is 1. If you want to trade 2 contracts at position 1 for target 1, you would just make that a 2. Position 2 is also a 1. It just means there's one contract for each target. You have two positions in the trade because you might make money if it hits 10 targets, and you might make money again if it goes to 25 ticks, right? 10 ticks is your first profit target, 25 is your second. Then we have a very cool feature. It's called target one stop move. If the trade hits your first target, sometimes you might want to automatically move your stop to safety, or you might want to move your stop, make it smaller than what it is, what the built-in stop is. Maybe you have a big MNQ stop of 100 ticks, and if you hit your first target, you really want to shrink it down. You can use this target one stop move. So if it hits my first target and I want to move my stop to break even automatically, just type in BE, break even. If I want it to be break even minus 3 ticks, BE minus 3. If I want it to be 3 ticks of profit, BE plus 3. If I don't want it to move from the target one stop move, it's a 0. And we have up to 3 positions that could be in a trade. So if you want that third position, make position 3 a 1 and add a third target. It's really easy to add an extra target and an extra contract. Okay? It's very easy. So now we showed you how to do trailing stops. You don't have to worry about that. We're not worrying about canceling. Really, we've set up a breakout trade. We're going to go down, right? We're going to go down. We're going to choose our account. We're on SIM. We're going to leave it on SIM. One important item that you always just want to watch is your input series. The input series is just the chart that you're trading on. It should always match the chart that you're trading on. Otherwise, just change the chart and then change it back to the instrument you want to trade to. In other words, if you're trading on GC, your input series will say GC. If for some weird reason it doesn't, just change your chart to the ES and then back to GC. What else do we have to set up? Really, you want to do your label. So we have breakout and we say GC, it's a gold breakout, and we chose our account, apply it and okay it, and now we have a breakout trade set up. Remember the time though, right? Remember the time. Right click the chart, click on strategy. This was a morning trade. If I enable it, the brackets are going to show up, right? Watch what I mean, because it's way past 9:59 this morning. It's way past. So if I enable this trade, our brackets are going to show up. As soon as gold moves, it has to move a tick so the market can, so the software can calculate the bracket. But there's our bracket. I did not necessarily want to trade right now. That was our trade from this morning. If the market shoots up, it fills us long. It's a breakout trade. If the market shoots down, it fills us short. That's a short breakout, right? When you enable a breakout, remember you get the break even button. If your trade is profitable and you press the break even button, the stop will move automatically to break even plus 1 tick. And we also have the combine orders button. If you're trading 2 positions or more, you can combine open orders into 1 position. You can cancel a trade that hasn't filled by unchecking it. If it's already filled, you don't want to cancel it. Otherwise, you're just canceling everything. You're going to cancel your targets. You could screw the trade up. If your orders are filled, manage the trade to a close. Now look, we're almost getting filled here. I'm moving gold down. Maybe it'll fill us. See, we got filled. Our stop is over here. Our first order is here. Our second order is here. I can move my orders because Ninja Trader allows that. It's a great feature. I can change my stop, make it tighter. Could make it much bigger. That's part of Ninja. But we do all that stuff. We talk about it. Why? We discuss reasons you might want to do it. Okay? And any instrument can be used to set up any trade. Anything. You don't even need news. You don't need news. The market doesn't know. The software doesn't know news is coming out. News just makes it fill quicker. Right? Look at how we're just sitting. Right? Look at if I put this trade on. Let me close the trade, right? If I put the trade on now, it's a quiet time of day by nature. The market already closed. It's 4:15. It's not a very busy time to trade gold. It's just sitting there. The software doesn't know we're waiting on news. It doesn't care. You could use it to trade discretionary anytime that you want. You could use it to trade specific news. Okay? Other important features that are available inside the breakout trade. Right-click the strategy. Other important features. I'm going to go through virtually everything because there's not that much. It's really easy. It's really easy to do this. Okay? First things first, and I'm going to remove my strategy. We'll start over, all right? Because I want to show you one more time how to set up a breakout trade. So we have ourselves a DMM, all right? Let's choose a different one, just because. It's not complicated. We go to the yellow line. That's our setup, okay? We know it's a breakout trade because the first word is a bracket. Right-click the chart. Click Strategies. Double-click News Trader. Trade type already is set to breakout because that's default. This is an 8:30 Eastern Time trade. It says it at the top of the DMM. Our activation time is X29:59, so that means Eastern Time 8:29, or anything in between, depending where you're located. If you're in California, it's 3 hours different. It would be 5:29, all right? Just because we put Eastern and Pacific time on the DMM. It could have just as easily have been Central time, okay? But we have a breakout. Our activation is 8:29:59. Our bracket is 10. So I'm going to make sure I type in 10. We have two targets, 8-tick target and a 15-tick target. So target 1 is 8. Target 2 is 15. Remember what we said about positions. If we want to trade one position for each target, the default is already set to that. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. That just simply means one position for each target. If you want to trade 2 contracts on position 1, target 8, just make it a 2. It's not complicated. Then remember we taught you target 1 stop move. What if the market moves 6 ticks? 12 ticks. What if your first target gets hit? If your first target gets hit, target 1 stop move does exactly that. It moves your stop after target 1 gets hit. Very commonly, I like to do something like break even, BE minus 3, 3 ticks before it would have gotten to the break even, okay? It's just a way to move your stop into a safer position that might guarantee some profit. You don't have to move it at all. Sometimes if you move your stop, it'll protect profit and you'll have a winning trade even if it's a whipsaw and it changes direction immediately. Sometimes you'll leave extra profit on the chart in the trade. Sometimes you'll leave extra profit because it'll reverse, but it won't reverse enough to end the trade as a loser. It'll then change direction and go back in the direction you want it to. Sometimes it'll tag your stop, take you out of the trade. It's not the end of the world, but sometimes that happens. If you leave it on zero, the stop won't move at all if your first target is hit. Sometimes that'll give you the biggest target profit. Sometimes you'll lose money, even though your first target gets hit. Because think of it, if your target is 8 and your stop is 20, 20 is more than 8 by 12 ticks. With gold, that's $10 a tick. That's a $120 loss, possibly, right? Because you hit your first target, but it turned around and then went 20 ticks against you. The first target was 8. It went against you 20, 12 tick loss. That's why sometimes we like that target one stop move. If there's a quick reverse, maybe you'll protect 5 or 6 ticks. There's no rule that says you have to do it this way. Everybody develops their own trading styles, and we do try to notice if some trades are better for not moving your stops. It's hard. That's something that's hard to tell, but we try. All right? So I said I would go through all the things we do for the setup. We don't do that. You have the trailing. Remember, you can turn trailing mode on. You just turn it on if you want your trailing mode to work. If you turn trailing on, don't use target one stop move. They will interfere with each other, okay? They will happen to work together. Sometimes you'll make things crazy. The program won't crash or anything, but only move the stop in one way. Don't move it in multiple ways automatically. That could goof things up, all right? So if you're not moving target one stop move, you could turn trailing stops on. And you would just do that by turning the mode to on. Remember, you could turn it on if target one gets hit, so you could start delayed. And I like tick for tick. That's the method we most commonly use. Fixed distance is ignored. Number of trailing ticks, 1 is the most common. Every tick of profit will make the stop smaller by 1 tick. So if you have a 10 tick profit, your stop is now 10 ticks smaller. Less risk. Trailing is a way to reduce risk on a trade. All right, turn it off. Trailing mode off. Now, we have a very interesting 2 items here. Many of our trades, we trade with 2 contracts. One of the easiest ways in the world to trade actually is with 2 contracts. It's easier than trading with 1. Yes, 1 is less risk. If you're trading 2 gold contracts and your stop is 20 ticks, that's $200 per contract. So it's a $400 risk on the trade. If you're trading just 1 contract, it's only a $200 risk on the trade. So obviously, right, trading 1 contract is less risky in theory. But it makes some other things sometimes a little bit more difficult. When you trade 2 contracts or more, it's real easy to pick a target and then move your stop above that target to safety so you have time to trail and make a big profit as your target gets hit. You move your stop to safety, right? When you're using just 1 contract, how the heck do you know what the target really should be? Now, Obviously, we analyze our trades and we do create something that we call a spike sheet. And we do it for most of our important trades. We gauge how many ticks the instrument spiked on the news. That gives us a rough idea of what our target should be, especially if we only trade one contract. But we came up with a way that lets us sort of simulate a two contract trade with one contract. And it's really not that complicated. We have this feature. Let's say, for argument's sake, we've got a breakout trade. It has one target, right? One position and one target of 50 ticks. And of course, it has a stop. And that's the whole trade. That's it. One position, 50 tick target, and a 25 stop. All fine and dandy. What we don't know, though, is how far is this trade going to go? If it goes 35 ticks, that's a $350 profit in gold. And it turns around and hits our stop. We lose $200. Oh my, that's the worst. When you have a trade that works and it reverses on you and it doesn't hit your target, that's the worst because you got it right. Your analysis was good. It just didn't go far enough. That drives you crazy. Well, we have this great feature in the program. If the market moves 30 ticks, move your stop to break even plus 25. So bingo. The market moves 33 ticks. It didn't hit our target, and it reverses and tries to stop us out. Our stop moved to plus 25 ticks, and we grabbed approximately 25 gold ticks if it kept reversing on us. So it's a way to kind of trade a two-contract trade with one contract, because you could look at a DMM and use your biggest target as your only target, and then use this feature. If the market moves X ticks, move my stop to this many profitable ticks. That's a phenomenal feature. We use it all the time when we want to reduce our risk on a one contract trade. We trade the YM market open that way. You can use it whenever you want. The beauty of all this is you use it when you want. Nobody's going to make you. You make the choices. Something to remember that's important. If a trade is enabled, right? If a trade, for instance, is on and all set up on your control panel and it's enabled, it's checked, and you try to adjust the trade settings, you can't. You can't see them. So just always remember, a trade must not be enabled so that you can adjust it if you want to make changes. A trade cannot be enabled if you want to change the settings, okay? It's just something to know. It's just one of the crazy rules of the strategy. So we're going through all the features, everything that's part of most trades, breakout trades. Many trades use all of these same features, okay? Trailing stops, if the market moves X ticks, okay? And we're now pretty much done. We do have something called unattended mode. We're not going to get into that today, but for people that want to trade and not be at their computer, if you want to take a lot of risk, it's not really the best way to do things, but we give you that ability. Then you have this optional category. We don't really use hardly any of these. The defaults are the one you just usually leave. The only one, we don't change any of them, but you do have the ability to trade in one direction only. If you choose direction short only, that's something sometimes people do. I don't like to try and guess the direction the market's going to move, especially on news. Okay? None of these other things do we have to change or modify for a breakout. It's really easy to put a breakout trade on. We always choose our account. We always label, right? BRK GC is a gold breakout. Apply it, okay it, and enable it. And I have a trade up on the control panel. So the bracket trade uses two ways that you get in, that the trade generally will fill. What are the two ways? If we look at the settings, number one is the time. So think about it. You can set up a breakout trade any time of day you want. If you want to trade at 10:23, all you have to do is put the time in, 10:23, and it'll trigger at 10:23. Whatever bracket width you use, that's what the bracket will be. That's how a breakout trade triggers. And then all those features can be used. Now, there's one other cool feature that sometimes people use. If you have a trade enabled, right? Remember, if you have a trade enabled, let me set it up so it doesn't trigger. So the time is for 16:29, right? We're going to make it 16:45 because it's already 16:29. I don't want it to trigger because I want to show you something. So I apply it and okay it and enable it. You get the break even button, right? You get the break even button. If I disable and I just change move stop break even X, the second part of our one contract trade, if I make that a 10, most people don't know this, the break even button will now move the stop to break even plus 10 instead of break even plus 1. It's just one of the clever things the programmer did. It's just a little feature that you could use the break even button in a little bit more, with a little bit more programming than originally we knew. He never even told me he did that. I don't know how I found out, but we found out about it. It's a good little feature. Sometimes you might want the button to move you to break even plus 5. These are things that as you get more and more experience to trade, you like having the features. That's the beauty. So look, I've taught you a lot already. We've been here an hour and a half. You now know how to trade and manage a trap trade. You know how to enter a trap trade. You now know how to trade and enter a reversal continuation. And you know how to set up a breakout trade. All right? I think that's a lot for today. Is that good for today? Do you have a little more energy? If you all have energy, I'll show you one more good thing. You want to learn one more good thing? How to test any trade so you know what to do, how to find your own trades. I've done whole webinars on this, but it's really easy. Remember we said when we first started how to, I was going to show you how to test a trap trade. Let's say maybe you just love being a news trader, and a lot of people do. And a lot of people design and test their own trades. You know why? Because it's really easy. It really is easy. I'm going to show you why it's so easy. We're going to get rid of all our trades. Remember, to get rid of a trade, just highlight it and remove it. Right click, remove. Okay? One other thing, notice how if you're trading sim trades, the price is still there. We had a couple of fake losing trades. Maybe you want it to be back to zero. You can get rid of that. Click on the account tab, right click the account, right click it, edit the account, click reset. Clear history will be checked and say yes, and then okay it. And now look, our sim is back to zero. That's how you put sim on a running total, 0, 0, and 0. So if you take a fake trade or a simulation trade and you lose $900 and you want to call your significant other into the room, show them a new trade you're working on, and you don't want them to see that you lost $900 even on a sim trade, you can get rid of that. But with cash, real trades, it keeps a running total. You can't get rid of it. At least I don't know how. I do not think you can. All right? Not to my knowledge. So I'm going to teach you what I think is the most important lesson you'll ever learn if you want to be a really serious, great news trader. It's the most important lesson that I will ever teach. I'm really serious too. It's how to design and test your own trades. Don't ever forget that we find our trades, we find the events on the calendars. So for instance, Francis, my friend Francis, asked me to look at something for him. We had a trade last week, okay? Last week we had a trade, and something weird happened. And Francis wasn't sure what happened. And I did not get up at 3 in the morning to trade it. So I don't know what happened. So I can test that trade and we can replay it. So that trade was German flash manufacturing, and it took place last week on August 21st. So watch. We're going to disconnect all of our connections. Anything that says disconnect, disconnect. We're going to download the data that we need to trade that event that's already passed, and we know we traded the euro on that report. We traded 6E space 0925. That's the contract we traded for the euro last week. And we need the data for August 21st. So watch. We're going to go to Tools. We're going to go to Historical Data. It opens up a dialog that looks like this. We're going to click Get Market Replay. The date, August 21st, that's the date of the trade. And the instrument we need, we said it was the euro, 6E. If it's not in my short list, go to futures. My long list shows up, 6E0925. Now, I love this. I don't have the euro. It's not in my system. Doesn't show up. So what do? Go to Tools, go to Instrument Lists, click on the Futures folder, click on Add. We're going to add that contract, 6E space 09-25. Enter. We just added that instrument. We can OK it. Now, when we go back to our market replay, get the data, when we click on the select instrument, the euro is the first one. Click it, and now we're going to download the data. The data is done downloading. It took a second. You see it. Under the word download, you see it take place. Close this chart. Okay? We don't need the date anymore. We know that it's August 21st And we know the event was 3:30 in the morning Eastern Time, okay? 3:30 in the morning Eastern Time. One thing we do need, though, in this case, because I don't remember the setup, I need the DMM, right? I need the setup. Let me see if I can easily find the DMM. If I can't find it easily because I have them in this gigantic folder, then I'm not going to waste our time looking, but I think I found it, so I'm almost positive. So let me look. Let's look at this DMM. I found it. We needed the DMM for 8/21. Because remember, why do we need the DMM? It's got our trade set up. It's got our trade set up. That's why we need it. Now, Francis happens to be here. Francis, did you trade the trap trade or the breakout? Francis sent me an email, and he wasn't sure what happened on the trade. Oh, and he traded the breakout. He traded the way that we said not to trade it. Look, I sent the DMM. Trap trades are preferred for August. But everybody is free, right? We have two setups. We have a breakout on top. Let me get German. We have a French and a German trade that are very similar. And let me get the trap. We have a breakout on top and a trap on the bottom. So we have two setups. He traded the breakout. So let's set up a breakout. But now we're using market playback. We're going to replay the trade as if today is August 21st. It's like we're going back in a time machine. It's an incredibly powerful feature of the software that makes us news trading experts, because you can practice trades, you can study trades, you can build setups. It's an unbelievably powerful feature of this software. We could not live without it. We must have the ability to play back the market. So we've got our breakout trade. So we're going to right-click the chart, click the strategy, double-click 10-minute trades. Breakout is already there. Remember what time this trade took place? 3:30. So we're going to activate, according to our setup, 3:29.58. Right? Remember, this is our setup. We have an 8 bracket. We're going to type in 8. And we've got one target at 12 ticks, one target at 25. So target 1 is 12. Target 2 is 25. We're not using target stop move because this is a test. We're just not going to use it. We want to keep the test as simple as possible. And we have a 15 tick stop. Now, a couple of things that are important. Remember position 1, position 2. That's the number of contracts we're trading. So if we have two targets, we have a position for each, and we have a number for each number of contracts you're going to trade. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. When you subscribe to the DMMs, you do not get a lifetime of DMM history, Willie. Willie, you're a special case because you're a lifetime software subscriber. So, Willie, I'll talk. You send me an email, we can talk, all right, about how to deal with that. Willie, very honestly, folks, paid a lot of money to be a lifetime software subscriber. He's going to get some bonuses because of that. And it's not that we don't love everybody. equally, but we're besides teaching, we need to make a living also. However, we're unbelievably fair. Unbelievably fair. That's the truth. Okay, so we have our trade set up, right? 329.58 in the morning, it's a breakout. A bracket of 8. One target of 12, one target of 25 ticks. Our stop is 15. I'm still, believe it or not, going to label the trade breakout 6E, okay? And it's going to be in my replay account. But in order to get it, it's actually called a playback account. In order to get that, we have to turn on the playback. So we go to connections. Now, remember what I can't do if my strategy adjusting is open? I can't change anything. So let's save the strategy as a template so we don't have to do this again. I've got the label. I've got everything. I'm going to apply it. Go to template. I'm going to click save. And I'm going to save German Flash webinar. So we know it's for now. All right. Save it. Now I can close that window so I can make adjustments and turn on market playback in our connections. So remember when we started, we disconnected our software live connections. When you're downloading market playback data, you can be connected to your live data. You can be disconnected from everything, but you cannot download playback data if you're connected to the playback server. It just is what it is. It's the rule. You'll get an error. It'll just say you can't download data. You're connected. So now I'm connecting to playback. I've already downloaded my data. That's fine. I'm just going to go to continue. Now we're going to get a tape recorder control right here. We want our chart to be the euro, right? Because remember, we're trading the euro. We're making believe we're trading that German report. 6E space 09-25. That's our chart. Enter. This is the chart today. How are we going to get it back to August 21st? Remember, right? This is not complicated, folks. It's taking 10 times longer because I'm teaching it. This is something you do in a couple of minutes when you know how to do it. So I'm bringing back our DMM so you remember everything about this trade. We've got our tape recorder. This is going to control the playback. These two boxes are going to tell the program what date we're using. It's 8/21. Both boxes must be 8/21. No big deal. Just put them on 8/21. Then in this blank space, we're going to choose the time of the trade. Not the activation time, but we're going to put the software, we're going to start the software moving and running 10 or 15 seconds before the news came out. So I'm going to right click the blank space, go to becomes active, click go to, and the time, remember the trade was 3:29:58. So I'm going to put in 3:29:45. 15 seconds before the news was due to be released, and I'm going to OK that. Ninja sometimes has a bug where when I press play, it'll just reset it to 12 midnight, just like it did there. Just put your cursor in the blank area, right click, go to, put the time back to when you want to start the software moving, 3:29:45 a.m. OK it. And now we are at the market August 21st, 3:29 and 45 seconds in the morning. All we have to do now is make sure our software is enabled. We click the strategy. We have to make sure the account is on NinjaTrader Playback. Account, not Sim anymore, Playback. Put it on Playback, apply it, and OK it because we made a change. Spread the chart a little bit so the trade has room. Now we can turn it on, enable it, and watch. This is magic. As long as we downloaded the data properly, when we press play, this trade is now taking place as if it was August 21st at 3:30 in the morning. The market's moving. I can see the data downloaded because there's an ask and a bid price. There's our brackets. Now, I'm not seeing very much of anything out of the ordinary, Francis. It pretty much triggered right away. It's in profit. If I wanted to move my stop to safety, I could. Okay. I could move my stop to safety. It did not hit my first target yet, but I can still move my stop to safety so that I don't have a losing trade. So, Francis, for what it's worth, on this particular event, I don't see a problem. But folks, you just learned how to replay a trade using a DMM, the software, and NinjaTrader. All we did was we went to Tools. We made sure we were disconnected from the Playback server. We went to Tools, and we got the historical data. We got the market replay data. We put the date of the trade. It was 8/21. We got the contract we knew we were trading. It was the Euro 6E0925, and we taught you how to add that contract if you had never traded it before. We download the data. Close the window. Connect Playback. Press continue. We're now August 21st, midnight. Right click in the blank space. Make sure your two boxes are both August 21. Right click in the blank space. Put the trade time 15 seconds before the news so that your software just has time to calculate. 3:29. I can even get away with 50. 3:29:50 a.m. OK it. Enable your trade. Turn it on just like a real trade. Press play. Remember the bug? It's set the time back to midnight or 12 a.m. Blank space. Right click. Go to. Just reset the time. Doesn't always do that. 3:29:50. 45 if you want to give it a few extra seconds. 50 is fine. Okay, now when we play it, everything will be fine. Enabled is still there. Play. Here we go. We're replaying the market. Maybe your bracket was too small. In this case, everything looked pretty good. It didn't hit the first target, unfortunately, and it reversed, but you could have saved it from being a losing trade. More importantly, you can practice German flash breakout trades. And so how would you use that ability to design a trade? Well, the real key to that would be to watch the spike for a full minute, and you can speed up the playback by pressing these arrows. It speeds up the playback, so it's 8 times faster than normal. So now we are past the first minute, right? So I uncheck the trade. I'm closing the trade. But I want to see how much did this trade spike? The ruler. Click this little pencil. Click the ruler. Put the top of the pencil right on the top of the wick. Go to the bottom of the wick where that candle started. This trade spiked 21 ticks, the Y value in the box. That's a very powerful number. We know how much this trade spiked. If you watch a few minutes, you can see if it kept going up and up and up and up. And then you could measure how much it went up over 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. But over the first 2 minutes, which is a pretty good indication of what that spike is going to be, because watch what happens here. We're now in our 3rd minute, the 3rd candle. We go back to, and it's starting to reverse. Okay? Almost. Let's give it a second. Let's just watch for a second. I'll speed it up so we save time here. See how much this trade actually really moved. How much did it reverse? When you're testing trades, you want to maybe look at 5 or 10 minutes of behavior. In this instance, this was a great breakout because look, it barely reversed. It barely reversed. The ruler shows us that it started here and it went all the way up here without hitting a stop. 33 ticks. It's a pretty good move. That information helps you to design a trade. Why does that help you to design a trade? Well, you're not going to give the trade a 30 tick bracket, are you? Not if it only moved 30 ticks. All your profit would be inside the bracket. But let's say you look at 3 German manufacturing trades. One of them moved 30 ticks, one of them moved 20 ticks, one of them moved 25 ticks. You might give yourself a 10 or a 12 tick bracket, and all 3 of those trades would give you some profit. That's how you use the numbers. You look at the spikes, you look at the reversals, and that helps you to very easily design your own trades, figure out what the brackets should be. Looking at reversals, you could figure out, well, maybe I don't need to move my stop on this trade. That is a very powerful feature in NinjaTrader called Market Playback. Adding to Market Playback the pencil up top and the ruler for very powerful analysis. So simple, just looking at the size of a spike. All right? Very powerful stuff. These are the tools that we use every week to help us figure out what the best setups are. Okay? Folks, that's a lot. 2 hours is more than we should do. Does anyone need anything before we continue? I promise I'll be sending out replays. Check your email. Make sure it's not going into your spam folder. Tomorrow, we're back to noon. Okay? Back to 12 noon tomorrow. And we'll have a great session tomorrow also. It's going to be great. Tomorrow, we're going to do one of my favorite setups, the range trade. Absolutely one of our favorite setups. Okay? So I'll see everybody tomorrow at noon. Have a great evening. Don't forget, come and trade with us in the morning. What do we got tomorrow in the trade room? What do we got? Here's the schedule. You know we're doing market opens. So we'll be in the room at 9 for the market open. We will be in the room at 10 for crude oil. And then we have 2 earnings in the afternoon. It's really one. Nvidia is the one we're waiting on. That's a big one. We'll probably try CrowdStrike, but there's another earnings trading with them that may complicate it. But come into the room, understand and watch the way we do things. I think you will like it. All right. And I send all of you the login information for the trade room every morning. You check your spam folder if you're not getting it. Everybody is on the list. I promise you. Everyone's on the list. Okay. I'll see everybody in the trade room tomorrow and at the class. So have a great evening, everyone, and thanks for being part of this challenge. See you tomorrow.